it.
We're live.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Wednesday, which means it's officially time for Boob Tube, and it's not Boob Tube without my lovely co-hosts Casey Carter and Desirable Bottom. Hey ladies.
Hey.
Oh, look, we have a full room already. Whitney, K Smitty Productions, Jason, they are waiting for us today.
Love it.
I suspect they saw Raising
K
Kanan too.
Smitty, what is up? And
Couldn't wait to come to the chat to talk about it. Woo!
Whitney. And of course,
y'all gonna have to wait.
Jason. Woo, woo.
Hey, Jason. Hello.
All right. All right. Hey,
We hope you guys are having a good week. Let Casey have a moment to.
I was telling you I had to make sure my coworker left the building. Now that I know she's in her car, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Yep. Casey's like, Jason's always waiting. Yes, Jason. Yes.
Jason, we absolutely adore you. So, as we do all of you loyal fans and friends, you're friends now. No, I rephrased. Family. I was about to say you're family now. So, and for those of you that are new, welcome to BoobTube, where we talk about everything that's streaming on the internet, TV, movies, and entertainment.
In general.
Mm-hmm. In general. And of course, boobs.
Well, and we keep those on the wrap because YouTube,
we don't want to get no copyrights. Yeah.
YouTube be sensitive. Oh my God.
I think
copyright strikes.
I'm pretty sure that Casey's gotten us kicked. No, I'm just kidding. It's not just kidding. Today's been tittying. It's not Casey's fault.
It's not me. It's not my.
No, it's not.
And as you can see, I am typically well covered. Typically.
Now we are.
Well,
there was a time where we didn't pay it as much mind until one day we came to get on, and we were in the green room, so to speak, the virtual green room, and we were like, Houston, we got a problem.
How long?
No, YouTube.
You're not talking about that recent time.
The recent time.
Oh,
we never really paid it much mind.
But that wasn't even then.
No, that wasn't because of that. I'm just saying now we're like,
now we're sensitive.
Words?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're like, you got the beat button?
Yeah.
You see me saying something that looks like a F, you're like, beep. I was going to say force, not
full. Okay, but wait. All right. So, I have forgotten that we had sound effects. And so I just want to run through my sound effects real quick here. Our applause. They ask me what I do and who I do it for, and how I come up with this shit up in the studio. All I want for my birthday is a big booty hoe.
Which is next week, by the way.
Okay.
For those of you preparing for my big special day, the reason why this birthday is special is because it is the last year I will be in my 40s.
Oh, okay.
And I did not realize how significant that was. Like, 50 is a big birthday. So yes, this is my last time in my 40s.
Yeah.
Can I get a round of applause for making it this far?
Hold on. Here you go.
Yep, sound effects are working. Good job, Casey.
Okay, hold on.
Nice.
Let me go back to this one.
We need to do Smash or Pass again.
We do. We do. Absolutely, we do. All right. So in addition to running through those real quick, I brought in something. I am not gonna lie. So the one of the treats of being the one touching the buttons is I can bring on stuff like this. Okay, no, not that. Not that. That's not what I meant. Hold on. I gotta find the thing I'm talking about now. Shoot. What did I do with it? Gosh darn it. All right, you talk amongst yourselves. I'll find it.
Okay, so if you guys are here for the first time, thank you so much for coming to join us. We are a trio. We talk about a lot of, things, especially if you're a power fan, this is where you want to be. This is it. And if you're power knowledgeable, we would love to have you in the audience. We used to have some people that were very actor and TV and movie Paul, who's
Yes.
at AVN right now. Alex and Axel.
They knew their
Yeah,
stuff.
they did.
Okay.
Like before I could even click enter to look something up on Google, they would already have it in the chat. So, but we need somebody that's like that about power, that like
Child.
knows power. Oh. Mm.
Well, hello there, Jason Momoa. Are we interviewing him tonight?
Yes, we're gonna interview. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get myself together now. I just.
Can we move him because it looks like I'm like face planted in his butt?
Long as he paid.
No. That is one thing I'm not doing, period. That's
Anywho,
a no.
all right, but wait, hold on. I got one more I gotta post up. Hold on. One more.
At least you're honest.
I'm just being real.
How about that?
Oh, no, that's a butt I'd let play on my
See? Okay, all right. So I just had to pull those up. Anywho,
that's a hot picture.
that's her James Bond bikini.
Nice.
Ironically, I was just watching something last night about Hollywood stalkers, and they didn't talk about Halle, because Halle had a stalker for a minute, but they talked about Sandra Bullock, and I believe there was one that they had that they shared. I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, but they were talking about like how bad it gets, like the Swifties, the Taylor Swift ones, and even Logan Paul said that he had a stalker too. I'm like,
wow.
Okay.
I had one too.
Yeah,
he wasn't a very like committed stalker.
It was a lazy stalker.
He was a lazy stalker, but he I don't know, maybe he was a better stalker and I just was like oblivious, but it was also before the internet was the internet. Like it was still phone books, and it was when I first started my career, so the internet was still brand new.
Okay.
And so I used my home phone because this is before cell phones became a thing, and so I gave someone my home phone number, and he was able to reverse search it, get my address, and yeah, so that was a brief stalker situation. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, there you go.
there you go.
Make sure to stay safe on the webs, on the interwebs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely important.
Can we just jump right on into the Raising Canaan? Just can we just go ahead and get it over with?
We sure can, because
Sure.
we were talking before
Let's
we
do
came
it.
on. And I had what I was telling ladies is that I've started watching Power again. I actually looked to see when it was that Kanan kidnapped Tyreek, because during that time there was a lot of Ghost and Kanan back history. But I decided to go back to that happened in season 4. I went back to season 3. And so go ahead. Let's talk about the current Kanan, because it's getting wild.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, make the connection for the folks that what you saw back then to what you're seeing now.
Okay, so my reason specifically is that there's a lot of like turmoil happening with Kanan and Jukebox. Like we don't really see it too much, but you can definitely see that there's some friction there because Jukebox is not with the shit. And Kanan is with the shit. And she's definitely not with this Ronnie thing.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, I got to give it up. We said this last week. I'm going to say it again. Jukebox is gangster. I fucking love how she's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I love that about Jukebox.
You got these hoods in the hallway ready to just basically plummet this chick. And she's like, I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care. I don't care. And then when
and
he
it's
pops,
multiple
when Ronnie
men.
pops his head out, she's like, fuck you do. I don't care. Like, oh,
knowing he's a killer. Like,
Mm.
so I definitely give it to Jukebox. That's one thing that I think Raising Kanan expands on the Jukebox. Like, you get to see why, because now that I'm watching it again, so Jukebox, remember, in Power. So at the end of season 2, Ghost and Kanan have their situation because Kanan took out his son. He
Right.
unalived his son, Sean. And Ghost was, like, what the hell? So they fight, they beef, and Ghost thinks that he kills Kanan. And that's how season 2 ends. He sets the building on fire, and boom, that's end of season 2. So season 3 starts, and then Kanan, like in one of the 2 or 3 episodes in, you see that Kanan is not unalived. He is alive, and he's at Jukebox house in DC, and she's taking care of his very burnt body and milking and bringing him back to good health. But that's where I'm at now, is like seeing like that obviously there was no there, and she says, you were the one that told me to go to DC and pursue my dreams and just be myself. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to reconnect the dots, because at some point in Raising Kanan is going to meet Tommy, Ghost, and Angela, because this is the time while they were in high school that they start doing what they're doing, and somehow they're connected. Which, okay, so then the other thing that I wanted to bring up was that the building that Kanan's in is also where in Power they went back there when they were looking for Tyreek, because there's the person that Kanan is connected to Tommy and Ghost with was in that building. Like, that's how they all come together. So yeah. And also the other thing is that I know that Kanan should be impregnating somebody by now, like real soon, because that's how Sean, who from episode or season 2. Yeah, so we're starting to put all these pieces together so that the story in Kanan makes a lot more sense, and we can kind of like, but anyways, let's talk about it.
How power comes together.
Let's talk about Kanan.
Let's talk about Kanan. Kanan, he most definitely has grown a pair, and they've dropped, and like
to his knees.
Hello. And I mean, what's interesting is his mother basically got him in trouble by putting a gun in his bag, then forces him to have to live with her, creates this scenario where he's got a curfew and has to be home by a certain time because social workers are making house visits, and yet and still dude's still staying in his old spot, in his own spot, still running
Famous spot.
I'm sorry.
Famous. He stayed in Famous spot.
Yes, it's Famous. Well, it used to be Famous spot.
Used to be
back
Famous
home with his
spot.
mom.
He's back home with mom. Yeah.
Yes, but it's interesting that and that's why I guess I make the comment about his balls came in, because a couple seasons ago, Kanan would not have done what he's done in terms of put himself at risk by not being home like he needs to, so that the social worker, if she pops up, he's there. And then the other thing, going back to Famous, Famous is poor thing. That's all I can say. Poor thing. I don't even know, but
I don't know if he ends up growing. I do want to see the dynamic of Famous's character. Like, does he grow a pair? And become gangster, or does he just
I mean,
like
he's
fall
like,
off?
I was gonna say he's gangster by chance, right? I mean, because he did shoot somebody, and he can legitimately put it in his rhymes, but at the same time, you saw that mama's boy, that sweet
Yeah.
mama's boy,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
like, sorry, mom. Ah.
He's
So,
conflicted because there was even a time that they were making the money together and he was with the shit.
mhm,
So
big
I
time.
just think the problem with Famous is that he doesn't want to lose his friend, but now he's realizing that he doesn't like Kanan's
Is
not
he?
Kanan anymore.
No, I was gonna say he has
The
lost it.
Kanan you
True.
knew is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, well,
Yeah.
Sayonara.
so let's talk about the brother whose name I totally forget.
Ronnie.
Who? No, not that brother. Not that.
Oh.
Um,
Oh, Lulu.
Lulu. Oh my God. Yo, Lulu needs some help. Lulu need help. He need help big time, and it's not in the bottom of that bottle he be drinking.
I think he's
Lulu.
gonna be the one
Facts.
that takes out Rock.
I, I'm just hoping Lulu makes it from the start of the episode to the end of the episode,
Ooh.
because
Yeah. I
he's
agree.
he's very messy right now. Very, very messy.
He is hurting
Hmm.
Yeah.
To say the
and
least.
is feeling he is feeling disconnected because in the beginning Lulu was gangster.
Lulu was the ride or die more than Marvin was. Marvin was the fuck.
True.
But
Yep.
that was before he became resentful to Rock. When Rock tried to
Yeah,
take the studio,
yeah.
when Rock Rock, but then again that goes back to everything we said last week where we were saying, Rock is sowing her oats. Like she is sowing the path to her demise
Hmm.
because, you know, once again, she comes in, she swoops in
Like
and
a
wants
wrecking
to be queen
ball.
bee.
Yeah.
And if
I
she
mean,
was and I want to say that like to some degree I get where she's coming from, but I feel like she could have done the same things but with more finesse. You know what I mean?
I think,
Mm-hmm.
I think she started off that way. And I, it's weird because the stuff that I think messed her up is not so much being gangster and being a drug dealer. She's really very good at that. It's the
Right.
mom stuff that was messy. And if you think about it, it's a lot of the mom stuff that has her, had her off her game, if you will. Because when she first started, and that's why I say Kanan has grown a pair. Because when she first started, she could punk the hell out of Kanan and he would back down and get in
Yep.
line and do what mom said. And now, he's 2 seconds off of punking her.
That's right. So true.
But then it also
Kind of
has to
like
do with the
flip
fact
the
that that's
script.
because Rock is contradicting herself. She doesn't like she wants to be mom of the year at one point and she
Mhm.
wants to be, you know, running the streets, getting some good D, sleeping with other people's men, which is a no-no. You know what I'm saying? Like Rock just I think the biggest issue that Rock has is she thinks she can do whatever the fuck she wants to do and there's no consequences.
But
Right.
And what
that for me then goes back to when we make the comparison between what men can do and what women can do. Because if this
facts.
was a dude, we'd say the same thing. We would say that dude thinks he can do whatever he want to do, but we would have different feelings about that statement. Like I love the fact that she do what she want to do and that she's straight up gangster, and her mom skills, was a little questionable, but her drug dealing skills are on point. Like I, I feel like her maternal parts are kind of held against her in some ways. But I'm always going to be that person that roots for the woman to be just as hardcore as the dude, because fuck
For
it.
sure.
Yep.
It yes, you might be kind of sketchy as a mom, but the same dude is sketchy as a dad. So 6 1/2 doesn't know the other.
Well, I also feel like the other take on that situation is that the part I feel like Rock struggles with is she wants to be the like mom of the year, but she doesn't know how to be the mom of the year. And
No,
they've
'cause
they've tapped into it a little bit here and there because she has a very tumultuous relationship
with her
with
mom,
her mother.
all of
Right.
True.
like you. I'm not even sure
Yeah.
I've seen Marvin with mom, but we've seen her with mom. We've seen Lulu with mom,
Right.
and
This
the
last
the
episode,
two
she
the
came and
two
he
of
was
them
like,
are
"Here,"
like, bitch, please, just be gone, just
because all
be
she
gone.
wants is
Take
money.
your money and go.
Right.
Right. Right.
So I think
Yeah.
that's something that I would like them to expand on a little bit more is like, why is Rock before they take her out? So hopefully we have a couple more seasons with her, but before they take her out, let's see why is Rock the way she is? Because right now we've seen Rock go from being a more fixed person in Kanan's life, like you said, that stern in season one, Rock said jump, Kanan said "Ugh, fine,
How high?
like reluctant, but
He
he
did it.
did it. Now he's like F you.
You jump, B.
But and I think the biggest thing that I wanted to say about Rock is that everyone, all the relationships in her life are from her choices.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not male, female, or otherwise. I think the difference between the male and the female is that we don't often get to see with the men why they, you know what I'm saying? Like the consequences. And we're seeing with Raquel how she's in the situation she's in because of her choices. The things that she's done to Lou, the things that she's done to Marvin, the things that she's
Yeah.
done to Kanan, how she's ran men out of her life because she has this desire to be a queen pin and doesn't know how to balance the responsibilities of being a good mom, a good sister, a good
But
girlfriend, whatever.
think about that though. Again, going back to the male counterpart, it's the same thing. They're not, if they're good at the business side of it, they're not as good in the other parts. Like when you think about Tony Soprano, when Tony was on his game, all the rest of that stuff was, but when Tony was emotional and crying randomly for no reason or whatever, then it seemed like he was more connected to the family and all of those things. So it's I don't know. It like I said, I think this show is so well written. And it was something you were just saying, Carrie, about just the about the character and what we see of Raquel. And as you were describing how all her relationships are what they are because of the choices she's made and the effects of those choices. And I think they just do such a great job of writing her story that, kind of like you, I'm dying to see what that relationship is with their mother, because it's clear that their father was artistic, was creative, and
Okay.
their mother, not really sure, but apparently she wasn't crazy about dad and his creative side. And at the same time, she's not close with the kids, but she's certainly close enough to get that money. And
Right.
so, it's interesting. I the I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I think I've got attached to the Power series because the writing is amazing. It
Off
is
the chain. Yeah.
absolutely. It wouldn't be what it is if that writing wasn't so good.
I think they're just really good at setting up the scene to be more understandable. I think what happens a lot with Hollywood is that they create this drama and there's like no rhyme or reason to a lot of the things that are happening. They're just happening. And it's almost just like constructive chaos, and it's like, okay, that was entertaining, but you know,
What about the
or
aftermath, kind of, or?
yeah, and it's like a lot of the situations, like let's take Fast and the Furious for instance. The new stories are not plausible, okay? They are totally fantastic fantasy, like totally not your everyday situation. We are seeing Raquel in an everyday in like power stuff in an everyday situation.
You can relate
Thing
to it. Yes, like
you can
it's more
absolutely
relatable.
relate.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
sending a DeLorean to space. You know what I'm saying? So, and I only mention that not because I'm worried about Fast and Furious, but I'm just saying like the storyline just gets you so invested. Like we don't really care for Ronnie because Ronnie is just nutso, but we understand him. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he just comes out of jail and or prison and is like ruthless. But let's talk about that real quick because I don't want to not talk about it this week. Him and Juliana. What in the holy schmoly shitness? So, for those of you that are up to speed, there's a scene in this last episode where Pranessa or the Unique's baby mama comes home to get some stuff because Ronnie done kicked her out of her apartment too. And she comes home and Juliana is literally on top of Ronnie. Now they haven't, taken any clothes off because Ronnie is slow on that stuff.
Yeah.
He's like excited, but
And yet not excited.
I don't think it's because he's not excited. I think he's so much of a sociopath that he doesn't know how to show emotion.
You don't need to be emotional to have sex.
But he hasn't had sex in that long. He's been locked up.
Well,
and he doesn't strike me as a booty pirate.
I was gonna say we're assuming,
But anyways,
anyway,
so yeah, and he's like, "Get your shit and get the fuck out." And I'm just like, "What's up with Ronnie and Kane kicking people out of their own places?"
Yeah.
But it's interesting the situation with Juliana because she is Unique's gone. But now she's like, "Oh, I'm going to do this thing with Ronnie and nobody's supposed to know about it." And it's like, "Juliana, you were just selling cigarettes at a bodega with a black eye not too long ago."
Yeah, I was going to say, with somebody who was physically abusive.
What do you know about this world? Besides sitting at a table pretending you're Griselda. Griselda. You know what I'm saying? Like, her character, bleh.
Yeah, we can do without
But you know what the irony of the situation is that every story has one. There's a Pranessa in everybody's story, the baby mom that was none the wiser. And now, like I said before, I feel like Rock and Pranessa if she would, whatever her name is, Unique's baby mom, if she was smart, she would have linked up with Rock and stayed in the know, learned a thing or two, you know what I'm saying, and had some protection. But she's a little lost right now. A little lost. She's and homeless. And homeless, unfortunately. So, anyways, what other characters? I mean, there really wasn't that much more, was there? There's Jukebox.
No.
Who?
That was really the bigger parts of the show, So.
And Marvin with the guy from the newspaper who fell off the wagon. And Marvin came to find him, using with the kids sitting outside in like 0-degree weather.
Oh no.
That was no bueno, but anyway, so I'm excited for this new episode.
On Friday.
So that's this week? Friday. There we go.
Yeah, on Friday.
Not Sunday.
It's on demand if you guys want to watch it any day.
Right.
Anyway.
So what else do we have, Casey? I feel like there's something else in your vault of video.
So, here's why I have this up here.
Jason Momoa.
There's a show on
There we go.
on Max or whatever, called On the Roam. It is Jason Momoa's show. It's him apparently out and about on the roam, getting into stuff that he likes. And it's two episodes. In the first episode, you discover his love of Harleys and how he found some super unique Harleys. Had them took one of them apart, took it to a 3D company, 3D lab print whatever shop, literally made the parts to recreate this like one of a kind motorcycle, so that him and his friends could then ride it. Because apparently it way long time ago, riding up dirt hills on these bikes was a big thing. Didn't last very long, but it was a big thing. And so when you're watching this episode, you see him talk about that historical part and how Harley was a big part in that. And this one particular bike, was like one of 5, 8, 10, whatever. And half of those are all gone. And so, like I said, he took the bike, took it apart, had 3D parts made so that they could recreate this, or molds, whatever, so that they could create the molds so that they can make these bikes. And they were gorgeous. And, they rode him up this hill. And it's interesting because everybody refers to him as Jay. And for a little while, I'm watching going, who's Jay? Jay must be one of the other guys. And and it clicked. I'm like, oh my God, his friends call him Jay and not Jason. And so it was really interesting because you get to see him as a regular person. You get to see him geek out over people who are not celebrity famous, but within these particular places are famous. In the second episode, you find out he's got a love for photography, and he befriended some dude on Instagram. And the photographer was kind of like, Jason Momoa just started DMing me, and now they're homies. and so, that episode was really very interesting. It's weird because I only watched the 2 episodes because I'm a Jason Momoa fan. And when you watch it, you kind of are like, okay. But I also learned a lot about Jason Momoa. So apparently in the motorcycle episode, he wanted them to make him a pink Harley.
Ooh.
Because pink is his favorite color. Was like,
that's interesting. Interesting fact.
Yes. So
right?
I just Googled Jason Momoa in pink, and like
matching his suit
everywhere. This is an Oscar de la Renta pink tuxedo.
That's insane.
I was like, and if you look at his arm, his wrist, it's a pink scrunchie.
Oh, to match. Yeah. I get you. I seen it. Like, I didn't watch the show yet, but I did see like the little advertisement too. So I'm looking forward to diving into it.
It's interesting. It's
as well.
And I'm gonna be honest, you're only going to be entertained if you're a Jason Momoa fan, because it's
right.
Very much him. He's gotten to a level of status and celebrity where he can just do a TV show about the shit he's interested in,
and people will watch it. Yeah,
that's legit what this is. It's literally these are very obscure people who you would never ever know. They're not famous people. They're not like celebrity friends. These are random everyday people who just have interests similar to his, and so he made them his friends. And because he's who he is, he can afford to create situations for them to all hang out and be cool. And that's literally what
That's
you
pretty
see.
dope.
Yeah, it's literally what you see. Like they were talking about there's this camera or I don't remember if it was a film camera, like a movie camera, or if it was a photograph camera, but it belonged to someone who shot something I think it might have been a movie. I think it was a photographer who was shooting pictures at like a really big movie like Apocalypse Now or something like that. And he came across this camera, bought the camera, and like basically talked about how he really loved the fact that he could find it, buy it, and give it to this guy. And again, I'm like, this is so weird. Like, I literally was sitting on my sofa going, that's what you do when you're famous. You hang out with your regular friends and you just, hey guys, want to go ride bikes today? Great, let's go make them first. Like, I don't know. It was weird. I enjoyed
Go
it.
make them first. That's
Yeah.
great.
Carrie, like
I
literally,
think
they made these bikes and then they rode them up a hill. And what was so wild about the place where they rode the bikes, it was somebody's farm that they just happened to stumble on, and the farm is very dusty. And they told them, "Hey, all the work that you've done to make these bikes, if you ride it on this land, it's really dusty. It's gonna clog up the motors and all of that, and la la la." And they were like, yeah, no, we're gonna do this. Like, okay.
The dirtier, the better.
So,
The dirtier, the
and
better.
like he made them these outfits, these chain gang looking outfits, and it was, I don't know. Like I said, I'm a fan, and
I'm here for it. I think
I was
that's really
me
cool.
too.
I think it's really cool to know that there's like a celebrity out there, maybe others out there that actually befriend regular people like us.
yeah
That we could share a common interest, and I think the thing that makes that really interesting about him is that he's I don't want to say attainable, but like he's
that's
still trying to keep himself grounded as a regular person even though
right.
he's a celebrity.
Yeah, and
True.
that's I think why I say when you watch it, you almost say to yourself, why am I watching this? This is yeah. But it's that it's that obtainable factor. It's that he's regular. He's and
This could be me.
when you hear everybody
Right?
refer to him as Jay, it just totally, he's not Jason Momoa, he's Jay.
It's like a
Interesting.
more casual. Yeah.
Like that's their friend Jay. And then you're like, that's fucking Jason Momoa. What do you mean Jay? That's Jason Momoa.
That's Aquaman,
You know
fucker.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, okay, now I've said that, right? So I became obsessed a little bit with my research because, like I said, the whole pink thing, when he said pink was his favorite color, I knew that he and him and Lisa
Lisa.
Bonet were married, but I didn't realize that they went way, way back, like way back, like way, way, way back, like back when like 2008, 2005, way back, like
That's insane.
yes, like because he was talking about, Jason Momoa was talking about how he wished he could have built bikes and cars and whatnot with his dad, but he didn't. And so he talks about it to the extent where you feel like, oh, Jason doesn't have kids to do it with his kids. Oh, and then when I Google it, I'm like, he's got freaking teenage, like,
He's got 2 kids with Lisa
Kids.
Bonet.
yeah, and I'm like,
Right?
ah. Basically,
Do it.
they were together but not married longer than they were married.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that was really very, very interesting. And basically, they broke up because it was like he got to a point in his life where he wanted to go this way and she wanted to go that way. And, and kind of like Lenny Kravitz, they just cool. They're just cool.
Yeah. I think that's interesting. And they're all of them are still cool. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I think let's do a round of applause for Lisa Bonet and having healthy, amicable relationships and being able
No
to,
drama.
I
I mean,
mean, I'm
no
sure
public
there's
drama.
some drama.
I was gonna say
No,
no
I
public
would say
drama.
probably not. She's like, and I think that's super healthy. And I feel like
Mature. Hmm.
very mature. Very mature. I think
Because
that's
at the end of the
commendable.
day, the being able to hold it together like that when having to deal with your ex benefits the kids more than it benefits the adults, right? I mean, because
But it
True.
benefits you too.
well, yes, but I'm saying it benefits the kids more because my kids now, like for example, I was on the phone with my daughter. I was on FaceTime with my daughter on her phone. She had her dad on FaceTime on her iPad, and they had done her sister and her father did a DNA ancestry um
Okay.
test or whatever. So she was initially telling me about her sister's results and then started talking about her dad's results. And that's when she was like, oh, wait, hold on. Let me get him on the iPad. And so the four of us were busy talking this way. And, she and I commented on the fact that while we were never, say, really aggressive towards each other, there were moments in time where we couldn't, you just, and while the kids always got what they needed, whether, mom had to make it happen or whatever the case is, they were always aware that there was friction. And so my daughter
Okay.
and I were talking recently about the fact that all of that is gone. Like once my son um moved down there, moved back, because both my kids are from down there. So once my son moved down there, it was like all of the animosity and I just was gone. Because I was just saying, I feel like once they became adults and could
Yeah.
do their own thing, I no longer had to really care anymore about what I was getting from him for the kids. And I hate to be that girl and say that was when I could finally let go of whatever anger I was still holding on to. But it's facts. I went down to Florida for my son's 21st birthday, and I literally think that was the moment where I officially released everything. Now, granted,
It's
this has
hard. It's hard being the sole provider. It's hard being the responsible adult, like especially when you're, in your 20s and 30s and you want to go out there and, scrub the ground and drop it like it's hot, but you can't because you got kids at home and dad's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, but he's out there living his best fucking life, making more
nah,
money than you do,
and don't
and
want to give you what
somehow
he owes for the kids.
right,
Right.
right. And that's I totally like I had no relationship with my kid's dad, so he was just completely absent. But I understand having that animosity for a long time because I was in, even now, like he tries to contact me, and I'm like, first of all, the kids are like in their 30. Like my daughter's 31 and my son's 27. We have nothing to talk about ever.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I spoke to him was when my daughter got into a little bit of trouble and he was like trying to, and I was like, one thing you do not get to do is you do not get to talk about them kids because you had zero
Mm-hmm.
participation in their bringing up. So the fact that my kids aren't in and out of jail, they're not, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like they're
Yeah,
just struggling adults like normal people
everybody else.
are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, so eh,
Mm-hmm.
keep your opinions to yourself. Furthermore, let's
And
talk about your stability.
sit your ass down.
Sit
Mm-hmm.
your
Right.
have 2 seats, sir. 2
Yeah.
seats. So yeah, I drew the boundary because then, he wants to make little digs and I'm like, "First of all, sir, you have zero impact in my life. I'm going to block you. We have nothing to talk about ever. If you decide to be a responsible adult, reach out to them kids, but they don't want to talk to them either. So I totally understand where you're coming from, Casey.
Yeah. So,
So
anywho, sorry,
Desiree,
we took it to the left on that
Woo.
one.
We're gonna
we did for
okay.
you
Hold
baby
on a
mamas
sec,
out
because we
there.
got we got some comments coming in on X. We
Okay.
got Brandon 8343355 saying hi, ladies.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey.
Michael 00031 also said hi, and Unique the Freak said hi as well.
What's up, Unique the Freak?
And
So Desiree.
Screw Network said hi, ladies, too, and we're all caught up on chats.
Hey.
Hello. So Desiree, what you been watching?
The Marvels. I finally watched it. It's really good. So if you
Okay.
guys get a chance to see it, okay. So somebody else told me they think it was like the chick had her own movie, but it didn't do so hot. I don't know. This is what
Marvel?
I heard, so I'm not sure. Yeah.
No, Captain Marvel. Yeah, she had her own. There was a movie for her, and
There you go.
it did okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I just heard it was from the other person. They said it wasn't so hot, so they had to bring her back with everybody else. Or this one seems to be doing good. So
yeah, no.
I mean, I liked it. There was a lot of action.
They're trying to do character fusion, and character fusion.
Right.
They're trying to create more programs where all
Right.
of the characters have screen time.
That part right there.
Okay.
Yeah, because the first one did just fine. It did just fine.
Okay.
But yeah, that if you like, one of the things that Marvel has been very clear that they are committed to is, like Kari said, like giving all these characters screen time, whether you're familiar with them or not. So I definitely had the Marvels on my list because I just wanted to see what that was, what that was going to look like. But yeah,
there's a lot of action. You guys will like it because at the beginning it's a little bit slow. Like I'd say, like the first 30 minutes is kind of like I was like, is something gonna happen? But sure enough, it picked up. So it's like under 2 hours. So it's not too bad.
Okay. Cool.
So catch the Marvels. I saw last night. I watched. Dun dun dun. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm picking which one I want to talk about. American Nightmare. I got two.
Ooh,
is that the one on? Is that the one on Netflix?
Yes.
Okay,
so
that's on my to watch list. How was that?
It was good.
Okay.
But it was outraging. Like I was outraged.
Really?
So for those of you that don't know, I was accused of a crime that I did not commit. I was incarcerated for 5 days and had to go to court to fight for my freedom. So when I see stuff like this, I still have, like, these are triggers.
Okay.
Wow.
So the show is about this couple that get their home is invaded. The woman is kidnapped, held hostage for 48 hours, repeatedly, sexual assaulted repeatedly or twice. It's filmed. And then she ends up being released, and the police think it's a hoax.
Oh, wow.
They think the couple is not telling the truth. So they are literally trying to get any evidence they're literally they're not investigating. They're not doing anything. They're just, we think you're lying and we want to put you in jail for it. So not only was the couple victimized, traumatized, and now trying to deal with the aftermath and collateral, like the aftermath of being victimized. Now they're having to fight. They got had to get lawyers, and they're fighting with the Vallejo police, who is sure that they're lying. And it's in 3 parts. The first part is the man telling his story, and how they thought that he was the initial suspect because, whenever a woman is
Right.
abducted or something happens to a woman, she's missing or whatever, the spouse, partner, whatever is usually the primary suspect. So that's the first episode. So you end episode 1, at least I did, pissed off at the girl because you're thinking that the girl just left him and it's called The Gone Girl. It was called The
Okay.
Gone Girl, case of the Gone Girl, whatever. So basically the way that it looked is that the girl left because he was still talking to his ex, yada yada yada. There's like a whole story that you have to watch. So that's how they set it up. And that's why the media became obsessed with the fact that they thought that they weren't telling the truth because it looked like it was because it happened around the time that Gone Girl had come out. So they're literally like, this is what it is. It's a hoax. Episode 2 is the woman explaining her side of the story. So the first one, you're mad. You're like, oh, this bitch. When we catch her, the second one is her sharing her story. So I love the way they set it up because it takes you through the multiple emotions of being angry for the guy, compassionate for the woman in the second episode, and the third episode, now you're really pissed off at the police. You're
Okay.
infuriated because they're not listening. She's giving so the fucking kidnappers or kidnapper or whatever. I don't know if they ever found out if it was more than one or if it was just a guy. But anyways, he emails the police department. He's emailing the media. He's emailing them and telling them he's pissed off because she's literally being called a hoax and he's mad. He's like, "Oh no, I did this." So they're basically calling, and it's
Okay.
interesting, like the psyche of this man who did all these things. So he's emailing like evidence, pictures of the goggles that she described, pictures of the gun with the laser. So it's
Mm.
so infuriating to know that there was like he's like literally confessing,
Right.
and
Right.
they're like, nah, she's not telling the truth. So
Hmm.
i'm not gonna I'm not gonna spoil
Wow.
alert the end, but it's just, and what even makes it more upsetting is that there were actually other cases in local California cities not far from where this happened
Mm-hmm.
that, had they done the investigation,
Mm-hmm.
would have instantly proven that this was not a hoax. And the reason why it's so triggering for me is because in my situation, when I was being questioned and they were asking me about the situation that had happened, I was in court the day it happened. I couldn't have been there. So not only was I victimized because they stole, like, so what happened was is my apartment got broken into. I was living with another girl. She had a bunch of Rent-A-Center furniture, and the people that came took all the Rent-A-Center furniture, took stuff of mine that was of value, and left. Literally, I had a box of pictures, my kids' pictures,
Damn.
which she ended up throwing away. So I ended up leaving the
Wow.
situation with nothing. In fact, I left with debt because I had to hire an attorney to represent me because I was innocent. In fact, I had left the apartment, and the reason why they were able to get in was because I was in a domestic violence shelter because I had left my husband and was in a domestic violence shelter. And in order for me to be in the domestic violence shelter, I had to go to court to get a restraining order. Well, on the particular day that this incident happened, when you go to court in Florida, at least where I was living, they go from A to Z some days, and some days they go from Z to A. My last name, Anthony, starts with an A. Guess what day this was?
Z.
Z. Starts with Z, ended with
Oh
A. I was
no.
the last person, but I had to be there. You don't go in and like schedule an appointment. You have to be in there when court
Right.
starts.
Right.
They shut the doors. If you're not there, you have to reschedule. So I had to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was there until the afternoon. The incident took place
Oh
during
wow.
lunch. So, had they literally just looked at the log and
Mm.
seen that I was in court all day, then hello, I couldn't have been there. I couldn't have been involved. So, to watch this American Nightmare was like, "Arr!" You know what I mean? Like, it was just like you just wanted to punch somebody. So, yeah, it's a good, I like when they do documentaries like that where you start off with one
True.
belief and then they start hitting you with other things, and then like for this one, when you think it's absolutely hopeless, then another bomb is dropped, and it's like it's just really good. It was really good for me anyways. I thought it was, but it's interesting. And it also, like, for me was like partly, I'm not a big cop fan, but then again, there's a situation where there's somebody who reinvests your, or like reestablishes some hope. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Anyway, so American Nightmare on Netflix. Absolutely good. I did watch something else, but we'll get back to it. Maybe I'll save it for next week.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's already 4 minutes. 4
Yep.
minutes to 10. I'm gonna save the rest of my list
For next week.
for next week. Yeah, because one of the things on my list, it also has backstory that I want to talk about. So yeah. But
You guys, we're getting personal on here today.
yeah, man.
Man, if you didn't know us before, you know us now.
Now you
Whew.
know us.
But you know how you can get to know us better? You can come and see us
Hold on.
face to face. April 12th to the 14th in Chicago, Illinois. June 26th, 28th to the 30th in Miami, Florida. October 25th to the 27th in Edison, New Jersey. And December 6th to the 8th in my backyard, Washington, D.C. Go to EXXXOTICA.tv for your tickets. And remember, Ladies Free Friday.
Woo, woo.
Do it.
But if you're also a cannabis enthusiast, we have something else for you. The 420 Expo's third annual show in Edison, New Jersey as well, September 13th through the 15th, 2024. Go to 420expo.com and follow on social media.
And finally,
put your hands on those pink boxes and rub them gently.
yes.
And follow us on social media. And make sure you subscribe.
That come hither.
Ooh,
I'm sorry.
Casey.
I thought we were giving lessons. My bad. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Keep going. Like, you're over there, we're just like teaching some people some things. Also, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check us out on social media and keep it locked next week. Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We come on here live. And if you have something that you want to share with us, a show that you recommend, a movie that you recommend, or you just want to chime in on our raising Canaan conversation because it just takes up the majority of the show,
It sure does.
go ahead and leave it down in the comments. And obviously, we will catch it in a future episode. So thank you guys so much for watching. Back to you, Casey.
I gotta do this right because I've been messing up lately. All right, y'all.
She just be like, click.
Bye.